Hey guys, welcome back to Top Shot Hockey. I literally just found out right before I was about to do this video that the Kings just picked up Kevin Fiala for Brock Faber in a first-round draft pick. So that's a really good trade for both teams. Faber's from the Minnesota area. He was right-handed D, and the Kings are stacked at right hand. So losing him hurts a little bit, but they have a lot of depth on the right side. And the first-round pick is it's better that it's actually in this year's draft because next year's draft is actually supposed to be even deeper. So it's a good trade. And now we just got to see what they're able to re-sign Fiala for because he's a pending RFA. And the whole reason Minnesota was trading him is they couldn't afford him because they have no cap space with all the buyouts they did with Parise and Suter and then giving Kaprizov that big contract. So they just couldn't afford him. So I'm happy with the trade. It'll be really interesting to see what Fiala signs for, but I think he'll be on the first line with Kopitar and Kempe, so that's a pretty slick, skilled, speedy first line. The only thing I find funny is Fiala boarded Matt Roy from behind 2 years ago, and Roy had a bad concussion and missed a bunch of times, so hopefully the first thing he does when he meets his new teammates is apologize to Roy, but that happens. Like most guys are like, cool dude, whatever, it's a battle, it is what it is, but I'm pretty happy. So anyways, we're opening up the Seattle Kraken's commemorative box set. So it's a 35 cards in the set. 30 of them are the base, and then there are 5 parallel cards. So I got 2 just because I thought it'd be good to have a second one. And I thought this would be kind of a cool set to have because it's not every day that a new team joins the league. So we'll just kind of go through here and look at them. So it should be their whole roster. So we got Drieger, Marcus Johansson. The funny thing is with a lot of the guys they took, they traded them back to the teams. Jeremy Lazon, I think, got traded at the deadline. I forget who he got traded to. I think maybe Nashville. There's Vince Dunn, Hayden Fleury, Riley Sheehan, Mason Appleton, who I think might have actually got traded back to Winnipeg as well. These cards are sticking together. Jamie Olisiak, Kelly Yarncock, who got traded to Calgary at the deadline, Don Skoy, Larson, Morgan Geekie. He's one of the prospects that they picked up in the expansion draft. There's just no room for him in Carolina, but he's got a good shot. So like, be interesting to see what he can do with Seattle. Alexander True they took from San Jose. Ryan Donato they took from Minnesota. Carson Soucy. Oh, these are just really stiff. Yanni Gord, who is obviously from Tampa Bay. Mark Giordano, who they flipped to Toronto. Jared McCann, who they re-signed. Brandon Tanev, who was hurt most of the year. Wenberg. Jaden Schwartz. Jordan Eberle. And Philip Grubauer. So that's all the players. And then these are season highlights. So this is just from the expansion draft. What's this? Debut against Vegas. First home game. We got here Ryan Donato scores Seattle's first goal. Philip Grubauer's first win. Jordan Eberle first hat trick. Oh, and True played for the Seattle Thunderbirds. So that's that. So then what we got here for parallel? We got a gold Sheahan, a gold Appleton, gold Olisiak, a red season highlights, and a gold Everly. So I think there is an opportunity to get autograph cards in this as well, and maybe jersey cards, but I didn't do a deep dive into what was all available. I just thought it'd be kind of cool to have. Like I said, it's not every day that you get an expansion team, so. And I really like the Seattle's dark jerseys. They're really nice. So those cards are all the same. Same. Then we got here gold Yarncroc, gold Donskoy, and here's a red True that's numbered. It looks like 2021, so that must be the year they came in, obviously. And Yarncroc and gold. He's a highlight. So, yeah, nothing too crazy, just nice little inauguration set. Too bad they don't really have any star players or top rookies in there. I noticed that they didn't have Cole Lind, but they probably planned this set out because he didn't make his NHL debut with Seattle till later in the year, so they probably didn't include him in the set. But he, from a collecting standpoint, would probably have been the most valuable one. Even he's a sort of a lower tier rookie, but has the potential to maybe be one of their better players going forward. So it's not really something you're gonna, sell on the fact that they got a lot of rookies. They don't. They're mostly journeyman players. But like I said, it's just something cool to have. Inaugural season. I would love to if they would have done something like this when the Kings came in, but that was in '67. I don't think Upper Deck, well, obviously Upper Deck wasn't making cards back then. I don't know what O-Pee-Chee did as far as inaugural type things. But anyways, there you go. Really pumped about the Fiala trade. I'm going to have to trade him over on my NHL 22. I'm actually almost expecting the Kings. I don't think they're done. I think they got their forward now, and I really still think they're going to go after a left shot D. And obviously, the biggest rumor for a long time now has been Chychrun, and it actually makes a lot of sense for both Arizona and LA because LA's got a lot of depth in their prospect pool, lots of picks, and young players who've already gotten good NHL time. Because I don't think Arizona wants just picks and just prospects because they need to get to the salary cap floor still. And they want some serviceable guys that are actually going to be able to play this year. And I think LA's got all of that. Like, they got multiple picks, multiple top prospects. They got a lot of young guys. Like, Bjornfoot's already played 100 NHL games. You got Dursey, who played over 60 games last year. They've got guys like Jared Anderson-Dolan and Gabe Vilardi, who played in the NHL. And they're stacked. Even with trading Brock Faber today, they're still stacked on the right side. Like, they got their NHL regulars, Doughty, Roy, Walker, Dursey, Spence, who are all played at times in the NHL today, or this year. You still got Brant Clark coming over, and there's a lot of talk that he's going to have every opportunity to make the team this year. You've got Helgi Grans, who's another really good right shot D. And Arizona as a franchise is really weak on the right side. So, so if they want like a guy who's currently got NHL experience, like even a guy like Walker, even though he was hurt last year, would help them. I don't think LA would trade Roy in that deal, but you never know. And then they still got tons of prospects. They're so deep. And then they still have, because Arizona's got 3 first-rounders this year. If they traded next year's first-rounder in a Chychrun deal, that's fine too, because Arizona probably wants to stack up on multiple drafts because this is going to be a long rebuild. So, I don't know. I still think it's possible. It all still comes down to what Fiala signs for. But that's the nice thing about Chychrun. He's already locked in for 3 more years at like 4.25, which is really good for a young defenseman. Like that's part of the reason why they're demanding so much for him in a trade, because he's young. He led all defensemen in goals 2 years ago. He's a really good skater. He's big. He can play physical, and he's signed to a team favorable contract. So I personally think that they're still going to go after a defenseman. Chychrun's the main target, but I think other guys that are available too, like even Girard in Colorado, because Colorado's got a lot of guys they got to re-sign. They got, I think, 7 free agents off that cup-winning team. So, and they're stacked on the left because they got Makar and Byram already on there. So, like, that pushes Girard down to third pair, and he's probably better than a third pair. But he also makes, like, I think $5 million. So I think he's one of the likely guys to get traded to make some space because they have the room. And then you guys got guys like Provorov in Philly because they're probably going to do a rebuild. Who's the other one that gets mentioned? Oh, you got Sergachev in Tampa, but like it's funny, he gets mentioned all the time, but I'm pretty sure Tampa's not going to trade him. Like Tampa's really deep on the left side too, but it's part of what makes them such a good team. Like I think Gerard, if it's not Chychrun, I think Gerard would be the Kings' next target. They seem to be going after a lot of sort of elite puck moving type players, like skill players. But at the same time, that's why Chychrun is sort of the main target, because he's a good puck mover, but he's also can play a physical shutdown role, and you need that in the West, especially for the playoffs. Like, although Colorado in some ways proved you don't need a lot of physical guys, but Colorado still played a relatively physical brand, but they were so skilled and so elite in so many areas of the ice that they didn't need to sit back in their zone and play shutdown hockey. Like, they just took it to every team nonstop. And that Oilers series was easy for them because Edmonton is not good at defending. So, like, Colorado was just like, you want to play a high-scoring game? You're not going to beat us. And just, like, basically just crush the Oilers. You know, St. Louis would have been... I actually think St. Louis was the toughest series Colorado had. Like, Nashville had no chance. Oilers had no chance. St. Louis was built to, like, compete against Colorado just because of the way they play. And I think if Tampa was healthy, they could have competed a little bit harder against Colorado. But the problem with any team that gets that team in the playoffs is going to have a lot of injuries. And Colorado had a lot of injuries too. But Tampa's had a lot of key injuries to key players, like obviously Braden Point, Cirelli, and stuff like that. So anyways, I went on a tangent. I hope you guys enjoyed this little Seattle Kraken's commemorative set, and I hope you like and subscribe.